Hey guys, hope your day is going well. I got a flamethrower build I want to share with you today. We've got some dummies coming up and then about 5 minutes of boss fights. After that I'll go into more detail with you. See you soon. So, Let's go into the build a bit more. To start off, we're using either Engineer or Ritualist. Um, so the thing is, Ritualist, when you kill someone, it's going to spread the dots to everyone. And it's also got an inherent buff to dot damage, where Engineer has I think it's a minute cooldown that boosts the damage and rate of fire of your turret. The thing is, our build is largely doing damage with dots. So you don't actually need to have Engineer primary. For a boss, it's good, but for clearing a map, Ritualist is probably going to be better. However, I find it boring. Honestly, I just think it's kind of boring watching the whole map die because I have Amplitude and the Vile perk. So I always put it in second. And for console people, it is kind of annoying to put turrets away with the trigger versus the bumper. So it's dealer's choice though, guys. For armor, whatever drip you like, just make sure you're adjusting the equip burden in the back there. What's it called? Strong back. The relic, you can use what you like. I would suggest Profane because dots scale very well with Life Leech. For the shards, you have a lot of freedom here as well. I went with melee speed because I do like to get up and close and personal. You may use skill damage here if you like though. You don't have to use health either. You can definitely go more for damage. You can also go more for utility too. It's really dealer's choice. This is mandatory, the energized net coil. This is what turns the build on. What it's doing is when it hits something with a status effect, 20% of the damage is an explosion. There's a cooldown on it, unfortunately, but it's still very strong. In tandem with that, this is also mandatory. We're using Timekeeper's Jewel. This is doubling the duration, which just makes the amulet absurd. We're using Ring of Ordnance. This is regenerating our heavy weapons ammo. It lets us drop it whenever we want and pick it up, and you don't have to worry about your turret's ammo anymore. I would say it's mandatory, but ultimately if you want to micro that more, you could say it's optional, I suppose. This dried clay ring is this is more optional for sure. I prefer it because I just think it's a good value. You get 7% DR, and then half of that is damage. You can also use Sweet Leaf with it as well, bringing it up to 13% DR, and then whatever half that is, 6.5% damage. Another option if you want defense is to use the Hardcore Metal Band, which gives you a stack of bulwark for every time you take damage, to 5 obviously because that's our cap. This is a very strong defensive option, and we have two ways of enabling that. One is with Death Wish, which will enable it by default. The other is if you swap out Smolder for Gas Giant and then put Corrode on yourself. Please bear in mind, Corrode does increase damage done by 10%. However, this is not reducing your damage reduction by 10%, so it is not as bad as you may think. This is a very strong defensive layer. As far as effective HP goes, going with Hardcore Metal Band is going to put you at around 74% DR depending on your armor, and about 666 health. With Dried Clay Ring, that's going to put us with the Sweet Leaf at around 68% DR and around 540 HP. And then since we have 13% bulwark, that's going to be, the 6.5 damage. And then if you don't have Sweet Leaf, because it's a pretty long duration, but you're not going to have it sometimes. It's we're looking at 65% DR and 491 HP. And then you have the 7% DR with 3.5 damage. It's kind of dealer's choice. If you don't want any defensive layer from this ring, you can start putting in more status rings. This is more dependent on your playstyle. I would suggest you go for elemental or dot damage here, but if you find you like hitting people, maybe use like a brawler's ring. It's really up to you. Just whatever your playstyle is, sub it in. And then the last one here is Red Ring of Death. This is good because we have a lot of very strong dots on the build. The only thing that's a little bit suspect is if the incendiary round for the shotgun procs it, and that does happen sometimes. It's a little bit tragic. It's not super strong, but if it's proccing the bleed, which it does sometimes, it's a little bit inconsistent in this ring, you're going to do a lot of damage. The Smolders burn, it's a ton of damage. If you have Gas Giant, that dot on it with Corrosive Blade or Tainted Blade, sorry, is a lot. Nebula is a god-awful amount. It's a lot. You have a lot of very powerful dots that are doubled up, and I would strongly suggest using this because it's what's giving us a lot of damage. Moving on here to the weapons. Sparkfire Shotgun. I really like this one because it procs ENC. If you have something like Twisting Wounds on it with a very high bleed, a lot of the times it will proc that bleed instead, and you will just blow them up. But like I mentioned, the fire incendiary is a little bit inconsistent. This is why I've marked it as optional. You can use a different gun if you'd like. You don't have to use Sparkfire. I really like it though. It does a lot of damage. It's 300 base damage. It's kind of crazy. And then moving on to the mods here. Heat Wave. This guy doesn't, the dot damage it doesn't help us with things like feedback or any kind of mods that's like, we're going to do more mod damage. Like, nope, it just puts a dot on them and then the dot takes it from there. So that's why we've opted for Twisting Wounds here. However, if you find that you are keeping Heatwave up quite a lot, I would suggest instead using Maelstrom, because the Maelstrom with Sparkfire, if I can find where it is, it's going to make your elemental damage generate more mod power. It's quite a lot. It'll make it, I think it's about 4 shots to completely fill the mod up. If you use it, it's very powerful. It's not going to work super well with ENC, but the idea is you are stacking Heatwave, so if that's how you like to play, keep that in mind. Moving on to the weapons. We have 2 choices here. They're 2 really good choices, to be honest. One is Gas Giant, and the other one is going to be Smolder. With Smolder, this is a very strong dot. The site doesn't display the dot, how powerful it is accurately, but it is a very strong dot if you do an R2 attack with it. Let me see here. Yeah, 200 to 600. It's a lot. It's way more in game, trust me. This we're using is Stormbringer. What this does is when you, it increases the damage applied by the status effect damage applied by melee attacks. So this thing's dot, and since we proc this thing's dot with the charge, we have it so when we do a charge attack, it reduces the resistance to all status damage by 10% for 10 seconds. So basically, if you find yourself in a situation where you're like, oh, I can hit this guy, just charge R2, hit him, do that crazily high dot that's going to double, and it's going to buff its damage by 50% and then make it take 10% damage to every other dot that you have on him, which is a lot. It's a lot. I didn't show it on the dummy, but it's really good. This is not really a melee weapon that you're going to be going toe-to-toe with. This is more just an opportunity melee weapon. If you are more of a brawler, I would either suggest hitting them with the turret. Honestly, just hit them with the turret if you're holding it, or if you don't want to be holding it, you want to be using a Gas Giant. And then I would suggest at that point, since it is going to be, you can make it a self-damage build with a Gas Giant if you would like. This thing's mod here, Dying Breath. It's really cool. It does a lot of, it does elemental damage. You have to hit them once or twice, I think, to activate it. And then what happens is your backstep charge attack, and then when it hits the ground, it turns into a fart explosion. And you have 5-second immunity to it, but if you stay in there longer than that, you dot yourself. And thanks to Timekeeper and Ritualist, that dot is 2 minutes. It's a very low dot, and again, it makes you take 10% more damage, but that is not impacting your DR at all. It's pretty negligible, and that's going to enable things like the Hardcore Metal Man, but also this thing, he just hits very hard as well. The site's not displaying the upgraded damage. I don't know why it doesn't do that, but this thing does around like 220-ish. Plus, it's going to be proccing ENC. Plus, if you put Tainted Blade on here, this thing's dot is gargantuan. Again, the site's not showing a problem. I think it's like 2k, the dot. And you can make some adjustments to have it so every stack of corroded, so you'll have 5 stacks. You would have to put, I think it's Festering Wounds. What is it called? Oh my goodness, guys. Fetid Wounds, sorry. You'd have to put Fetid Wounds on here for 1. This would count as a dot. The R2 charge with, oh my goodness, what is it called? Tainted Blade would count as 3, 4 for the gun, and then 5 for this mod would be the 5 stacks. And then you would have the full amount on Gas Giant going that route. If that's what you want to do, if that's what if you want to hit people with a hammer, that's how you would do it. Going on to the secondary, we are using Nebula. I would say that this is mandatory for this build. It works very well. With what we're doing, honestly, I would be very hard pressed to remove it. If you wanted to really badly, maybe you could use Star Shot or something. That's also going to scale very well with ENC. If you go Star Shot, something I really like to do with Star Shot is I like to put Spellweaver on it to bring my cooldowns back, but I feel that's not super duper. You can though if you want. I would suggest Nebula though. This is going to be. It does a lot of dot damage. Just shooting them with the regular fire does a ton of dot damage if it procs ENC. I think it's like 4K. Nanostorm goes around and dots everything up. And then feedback, what this is doing is it's going to be our mod generation. This is a very expensive mod to cast. I think it was like 750 or something. And then while it's going the entire time, it's doing damage and generating mod power. It just gives us a very strong mod generation loop from here. And we don't have to have it out at all times to be using it either. It's just always going. Pretty simple. It's an OP one. Moving on here, looking at the trades, I would suggest getting Vigor. This spread here is pretty good. Amplitude definitely scales very well with what we're trying to do. I like Bark Skin, and I like making my guy tanky. You don't have to do that. Like if you see all this, you're like, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, you can get rid of this. I would probably put it into Chakra because that scales very well with Nebula, but it's also helping our heat wave as well. I would definitely try to pump Chakra up. Flashcaster we're using because this speeds up the turrets. Kinship is so the turrets don't kill us. We don't friendly fire, and it's also relevant for if we have the gas giant's going to offset the damage from the the acid cloud. It's just good. I like Kinship a lot, to be honest. And if you use Star Shot, Kinship is mandatory as well. Leech and Siphoner together dots scale very well with Life Leech. That's why we have both of them to power that up. I think it's at 9% Leech with this. It's quite a lot. If you use the Relic, it's going to go even higher. I put 4 points in for Strong Back for the drip. I like it. He looks like some robot Hulk. Looks like robot Kratos. I think it's a really cool drip. You don't have to copy it. You can use whatever you like. And then last but definitely not least, maxing out swiftness. I love moving fast. If I could put haste on here, I would. I would love having Anastasia's on here. I don't have it though, but if you go that route and you want to put haste on there and you're like, I want to melee more, you can put 1 point into regrowth to help offset the self damage. And if you want to put like Anastasia's on there for the haste as well, that's really nice. Helps with the melee speed, helps with everything. For the consumable, I'm using Mudtooth, pretty simple. Simplistic choice here. For the consumables, I use Sweet Leaf if I'm using Dried Clatering because this is damage at this point. This is not just damage. If you're not using that, you have other choices though. Confidence Booster is definitely a really good choice to pick. Rocket Fuel also, if you find yourself swinging around mailing people, Rocket Fuel and Confidence Booster together are very powerful. There's always the Brightstone too. The Bleed on Pipe Bomb is going to be really good for you too. You got a lot of choices, it's just the consumables, a lot of preference. It's not, that's about it. That's the build. It's a lot of fun. It's been a joy really, and it's got a lot of different ways you can run it and make it work for yourself. Give it a try. I think you'll like it too. And if you like the video, give it a like. If you had any suggestions or thoughts, leave them in the comments. Thanks guys. Have a great rest of your day.